Have you ever been pressured to do something that you know in your gut is wrong? Maybe you've been offered money or advancement or entrance into some exclusive group, but by taking the offer, you'd have to turn on your own principles or morality. That's what's happening, I think, in 7 to Eternity. A brief history. You've got these wardens. They're born with special abilities to protect the kingdom. A man named Galus has a gift where he's able to bond with other spirits, but they have to choose to let him in. So he'd offer people whatever their hearts desire to ensure that they did. Of course, it was a devil's bargain that instead gave power to Galus himself. And once people accepted the offer, they'd be trapped with him forever, enabling him to see what they saw and to hear what they heard. Zebediah Osidis is gifted with the ability to see things for what they truly are. He understands things implicitly that others fail to see at first. He knows that once a man convinces himself that what he wants is what he needs, then taking the path to damnation can feel like a justifiable position. People believe the side of the story that suits them, and Galus whispered his lies over and over until they were truths that no one questioned, and anyone who rejected them were cast out. And that's exactly what happened to Zebediah and his family. His name was cursed while Galus's darkness spread, and he became known as the Mud King. He was able to take control of the entire kingdom that way. But we still have our honor, Zebediah told his son. Nothing in the physical world can kill that, but betray your heart and everything crumbles. I think everyone has had moments in their life like this, whether with friends or family, colleagues, where you're faced with a similar choice. Go along with what others are doing against your better judgment, or stand true to yourself and potentially become an outcast like Zebediah and his family. When Zebediah's son Adam travels to the city, he's met with scorn from the people. His family name is synonymous with cowardice and betrayal. The Mud King is known as the God of Whispers. He's inside so many people's heads he can spread any lie he wants and it becomes the truth. I wonder if the writer of this story, Rick Remender, chose to call him the Mud King, whose son has the power to manipulate mud, to be synonymous with mudslinging. Anyway, it's something that all members of the Osidis family have to deal with. For Zebediah, it's not just about honor and his family name. The stakes couldn't be higher. His son Pete is deathly ill, and living on the outskirts of society, he's forced to deal with unscrupulous people. He's unable to trade for the medicine they need, so they have to take one last desperate journey to the same people who refused to stand up for what was right when the kingdom needed them most. His old order. Now just a shadow of their former glory. Along the way, the parents tell a story to their dying son, and the Goblin King said to his wife, "Whispers are deadly." Think about what people whisper. Anger, hatred, secrecy, fear. It's a story that Pete had heard 100 times, but they repeat it so they never forget what they're standing against. Sadly, the crumbling order refuses their plea, maybe out of cowardice, maybe out of shame, and Pete succumbs to his illness. His younger brother Adam blames his father for their refusal to help them, but his mother reminds him, a reed bends or it snaps, but once bent, it can never retake its former shape. The Order hates Zebediah because he makes them remember who they once were and what they've become. When all others have compromised who they are, when you're the only one left standing for what is right, you'd be a fool not to wonder if you were wrong. But if you listen to that voice inside you, you'll know. Young Adam's mother tells him a reed must grow straight while it's green, and once it has, it must choose how to weather the hard winds. Does it bend or does it break? Now a father himself, Adam has inherited the same dilemma from his father before him. Pushed beyond the edge of society, out into the wilderness, their family hunted. He himself now inflicted with the same illness that killed his brother. And with few options left, against everything his father stood for, he travels to the city to speak to the Mud King. Will he finally bend the knee, or will he find a way to remain defiant? Like his mother once told him, it's the voice deep inside you that lights the way. It always knows the truth. And for me, that's what I've always relied on to help me make difficult decisions in my own life. I follow the truth as best as I can perceive it, because the truth is fixed and unwavering. And even though it can be hard or painful to follow, especially when the whole world wants you to believe in lies, it's the only path that can lead you to a moral life. So let the truth be your guide and use it as a shield against deception, even if it comes at the cost of your comfort, convenience, or like in the case of the Osidis family, much, much worse. Because the price you pay for turning away from the truth is your very soul. And I think that's what Rick Remender is trying to tell us in this epic story. Thanks for watching.